Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session on VARC strategy for CAT 2025. We are waiting for some more students to join in. Kindly bear with us. We'll be starting in another 3-4 minutes. Good evening once again, and a very warm welcome to this session on mastering the VARC strategy for CAT 2025. I'm sure most of you are busy these days taking mocks and trying to sharpen your skills for the big day ahead. You've taken a smart step by choosing to learn in a structured and a strategic way. These sessions are not about only solving questions, they're about transforming the way you think, approach problems, and manage time under pressure. Jaipuria Institute of Management proudly, it's a double CSB accredited institute, and we tend to bring to the table all aspects of business which will help you to prepare yourself for the future ahead. We are very happy to share that the speaker for the day, Mr. Sudip Bajpai, most of you would be knowing him if you've attended the earlier sessions, is a veteran in this field and has been training people since the last 17 years. He produced prodigies who've scored over 99 percentile in the VRC section. And he will be sharing not only thoughts, strategies, how to go about it. This 2 hour session today will bring to is basically for you to, question everything that you want to with him. We can keep a section or a slot of time for you guys in case you want to have a one-on-one or in case you have common problems. Maybe he'll be able to help you out today. He's just joining us in a bit. There is some technical glitch because of which he's delayed by a couple of minutes. Um, Anything that comes to your mind, please feel free to put on the Q&A section and we'll be happy to answer your queries. So let's get ready, dive in and make the most of this session. He's just joining. Give me a minute or so. Yeah, Sudip has joined us.
Good evening, sir. I hope I'm audible, visible.
Yes, very good evening and welcome to this slightly longer session today with the
Yes.
very, very nervous kids. And yes, you are very much audible, sir.
Yes. All right.
I think the screen you need to check. Nothing is visible right now. Have you put on anything right now? No.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's moving.
Yeah, yeah. So over to you, sir. And students, please take the most of this session. Best of luck. All yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Less than 20 days to go. And sorry for a bad throat. I had a school reunion, and as it is, you don't sleep for 4 days. You just laugh and shout for 4 days. So that is the result that you get: puffy eyes and sore throat. So that is. I'll just pin my screen so that it is visible to everyone. Right. We have been conducting certain earlier also, and I hope you are aware of the fact that all those videos are available on Jaipuria's website. And getting back to our exam, CAT on 30th of November. First of all, good luck to you all. Diwali gone, now Children's Day on the way, and then you have got CAT. And it's only at CAT that you take you are allowed to take some kind of rest. Today's session, we have a very clear-cut agenda. And before we start again, would like to inform you that all our previous videos are available on Jaipuria's website. Please go and they will be helpful. Okay, because they're very specific about the types of questions that we get and the types of questions that we get in reading comprehension and how they are asked. How do you identify a certain type of question? So I'll just getting back. Today's agenda is we'll discuss certain approach to your verbal ability question section, and also which questions to avoid in RC. And I have picked up the examples from original CAT papers only. As far as we go about the questions that we, if not totally avoid, we try to put them in the second line. Will be solving the easier ones first, and then we go to these types of questions that I'm talking about. Okay, and it's very important because I think all of us, you are aware by now that you do not attempt all the questions in CAT. There's a beauty to the paper that you have certain liberty that you can leave certain questions. So we'll be talking about these things, and since it's going to be a longish kind of a workshop, around 2 hours, we'll also solve a few questions. Of course, you'll be solving, and we'll be discussing the answers, or how did you or how did I approach those questions. Okay. If you talk about VARC part, okay, you will have reading comprehension questions, summary questions, you'll odd one out, you will have sentence completion, and you will have what we call parajumbles. As far as CAT is concerned, we do not have direct questions from grammar or vocabulary, and it has been so for the past decades now. You never know, they may change it this year, but you do not have them. All right. Okay, Aniket, I'll be coming to that, beta. Okay. So by now, I hope we all have managed to kind of narrow down our strengths and weaknesses. Okay. Now, if I were to take CAT, we all know that it is an online paper, and there's a lot of stress in initial 5-10 minutes, and there's a lot of settling down, lots of thoughts flowing through the mind. Right? So what I will do is I'll pick up summary questions first, because summary questions are relatively easy. They're small paragraphs. You warm up by reading them. If I pick up reading comprehension, they are slightly longer paragraphs, and maybe we are not able to focus for any 2-3 minutes. Okay, so I'll take the summary questions first, and maybe I get my focus, I get my concentration going, and then I switch to reading comprehension. The most dangerous questions that are parajumbles, sentence rearrangement. Whatever we may try, whatever we may do, howsoever hard we may work, and we do thousands of parajumbles, this always remains a weakness for most of us. I don't know if some of you have it as a strength, but for most of us, it remains a weakness. The good thing is that these are Theta questions. Theta questions, type in the answer, which means normally they do not give us the options. To compensate for giving us the options, they also say that they will not be taking any, they will not be having any negative marks if you get them wrong. And time is a factor. You do have to invest some time. By experience, I can tell you that you can always look around and you'll find 2 parajumbles which are doable, easy. Now you got to be smart enough, and you got to be not greedy that, okay, I have read it, now I'll solve it. Read something and you are in a position to decide whether, okay, I'll be able to do it or not. Be very honest at that point. Do not in that zone that I have invested 2 minutes into this question, I will do it come what may. Don't. If you feel that, okay, it is difficult one, just move to the next one. Okay, you will find at least 2 easy ones. Fine. So we start with summary. We move on to reading comprehension. Aniket asks, how do we choose our passages? All right. But normally there are 2 ways to go about it. Number 1, that what you do is you read the questions. When I say read the questions, probably you just scan them to get an idea, okay, what is being asked for a particular passage. Fine. And if you see the first or the second video, second session that we did, you will know that we have talked about the various of questions that they ask. Okay. So I'll just try to list them once again. They're asking us a central idea question. They're asking us key idea questions. They're asking us, you've got idea flow questions. Then, of course, the most popular ones, they are inference and assumption questions. Then maybe they do ask us directly, indirectly, maybe about the tone. Then they do ask us about odd one out, and maybe one question on interpretation. Now, these are the various types of questions that they ask. Fine. Now, I hope by now you have found out that which questions bother you. We'll be talking about them. We'll be talking about them, the questions to avoid actually. All right. Fine. Now, reading the questions first or scanning through the questions first, it gives you a vague idea. This passage seems to be like tricky, and let me keep it aside for later. The other way you can is like, you know your topics. That I'm not very comfortable with, say, pure finance passages with a lot of jargon involved. Okay. So I know this, but I'm very good with passages on biotechnology, or maybe abstract passages where they talk about various models. All right. Or maybe certain passages where they're simply talking about current affairs. All right. Or maybe there are certain passages that talk about entertainment and sports. So I have my weakness in place. So when I see any passage that is talking about hardcore finance, maybe I scan through and look, boss. If I find time, I'll do it. Otherwise, I will not. So, Aniket, but there are two ways that you can decide to choose your passages. One is scan through the questions. The questions give you a decent idea. Look, boss, that this question has been bothering me. And if they are asking out of 4, they are questions based on assumption. I'll leave it for later. Okay. And then there are certain questions which are lengthy and confusing and overwhelming actually. We have read the question thrice and we are not able to figure out, okay, what are they telling us? What are they asking us? So this is how actually I choosing my passages. Two things. We still have 20 days, not 20 days exactly, but yeah, say 15 plus days to go. We can still get out that, okay, boss, these types of passages I will avoid, and these types of passages I'll pick up. Okay. And anyway, beta, try to understand, you do not have to attend all the RCs. Fine. So you can relax out there. Number of questions that RC has is around 70% of the section. Fine. So you got a lot of choice out there. But yeah, these are the only two ways that I choose. I go through the questions, they give me a vague idea, and by established that, okay, these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses. Yes, of course, you can keep working on your weaknesses. You never know, in the last 15 days, you can still work. Okay. So Aniket, I hope I answered your question, beta. Fine. So next time you're taking a sectional test, or maybe you're taking a complete mock test, just apply these two fundamentals. Will help you. Fine. Okay. We picked up summary first. We did some RC questions. Then please very, very, very alert about odd one out. Okay, what happens is, okay, I have got a question. Rajiv, yeah, yes, that is a problem that we all have, right? We get, we narrow down our choices to 2. We are stuck with those 2. Okay, but every single question, sorry, I'll be coming back to this as well. Just that Rajiv has got a very relevant question. But any single question which brings us to 2 options where we are not able to decide which one is the right answer, always go back to the question. It's not your understanding of the passage, you've understood it well. It's not about understanding of your 2 options, which may be the case, but more often than not, it is the problem of ours where we have not clearly understood what are they asking. Bhai dekho, सीधा सा बात है ना बेटा. Out of the 4 options that they gave us, only is the right answer, right? Which means that if you're confused between the two, somewhere we lack understanding. By experience, most of the time, we are not able to understand the question. Huh? If it is like English which we don't understand, then just drop it and move ahead. Then don't bang your head there. भाई समझ ही नहीं करेंगे आगे भाग जाएंगे लेकिन हाँ you are able to understand that okay this is what they're saying and I'm confused between these two options. Go back to the question, read the question, ask yourself, boss, have I understood the question? Then get back to the options. 110% you will be able to eliminate one. What happens is like what happened with me, so it still keeps on happening. When I'm stuck with like two options in the end, I just keep banging my head on the options. Yeah. But the moment I go back to the question and try to understand it, and if I understand it clearly, it becomes very easy for me to pick up the option. And of course, you got to go to the passage to just make sure that one of those options is in alignment with what is written in the passage. So this will keep happening. We'll keep with two options. It's nothing that you are the only one, you're the first one, or you're the last one. Your seniors, they went through this. Your juniors, they will go through this. But by experience, I keep saying this word by experience because I haven't come across any theory regarding it. By experience, most of the time, it is the problem with understanding the not the options. Options are different here, but how can they be the same? Options are different ही ना, चार में से एक ही तो सही होना है ना. Which means उन दो में दोनों अलग है. तो alignment check करना पड़ता है कि okay, which one is saying the right thing from the passage and also your understanding of the question. All right? Yeah. हाँ, Aniket, as I said, everybody faces it. I also face it. Narrow down कर लिया दो पे, now what? And then you are like banging your head on the options. Go back to the question, go back passage. Try this for the next 30, 40, 50 questions. But as I said, there's no kind of syllabus for us, there's no kind of technique for us. So we just have to find a way out. So I have found that most of the time, my understanding of the question is weak. And hence I'm getting stuck with the two. Okay, अगले बार try it for the next 30, 40, 50 questions that you attempt, where you get stuck. All right? Okay, odd one out. I was talking about the odd one out. Now, odd one out, what they do is, they kind of frame it in a way that they look like parajumbles, which of course they are fine. But in between those options that we have A, B, C, D, whatever, any three fit, the one does not. This is the odd one out. Now, what happens is that under pressure, we feel that this is a parajumble question and to give them the right sequence. Fine. And we waste a lot of time in trying to do so because one obviously will not fit in. So it is not a parallel question. Like it does not end there. It ends on telling us that, okay, this particular sentence does not fit in the rest of the paragraph. Because in one of the sectionals I was trying, I did not read the instructions and I was like hell-bent on getting them the right sequence. Of course, was there, but then one sentence was just like it just didn't fit in. And I was trying to give them the sequence. And then I realized keep trying. So with odd one out, the learning is always read the instructions very carefully before you attempt the question. Fine? Because these are the easy ones. Odd one out to समझ में आता है ना यार. Everybody is wearing white, one guy wearing maroon or whatever. Odd one out. दूर से चमकता है. Find the question. Read the instructions. Read the instructions first. Sentence completion again. Personally, I find them annoying. Alright, because it's not as if they ask only the sentence or the last sentence. Sometimes they give you a sentence that is bang in between with a blank. यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? How I go about it is I read the entire paragraph. Okay? Once. That gives me the topic and tone. Okay? And basis this, I try to fill in the blank. And again, you can always find one or two easy ones out here. But your reading speed has to be like, I am not saying that you got to read 800 words per minute, but it has to be reasonably around 250 words per minute, 300 words per minute. That will be slightly faster actually. But 200 to per minute. Okay, if you can read that fast, believe me, you have time to go through the paragraph, get the topic and tone in your head, and then try to fill in. But I again say that sentence completion and parajumbles, these two types, they are boss. They shake our confidence to a degree it doesn't come back ever again. Fine. But you pick up the previous year question papers, you will realize that you'll always find at least two parajumbles that are doable, the easy ones. And similarly, you'll always find at least two of them, which are easy ones. But yes, you got to, pick, you got to go through the entire. So that is where your reading skill comes in. And that is where your mental toughness comes in, where you keep telling yourself, look, boss, I'm not short of time. I read well, I read fast, I understand, I understand. So I'm not nervous about reading this stuff again. I'll read it. The moment you have that doubt, oh, boss, time nahi rahega because will I be able to finish reading or something? Where the problem, the doubts, they creep in. So have confidence in your ability to read faster and better than most others. Okay, so assess that part, that how many words am I supposed to go through in that span of 40 minutes or something. Okay. So as I said, I'll start with summary, move on to RC, and then I pick my rest of the passages. We have got more questions coming. Yeah. Rajiv is saying that while attempting the odd one out questions, how to approach efficiently, trying to sequence the right ones, or at least deducing the openers and conclusions, or directly searching one which one doesn't fit. Rajiv, again, but a wonderful question. Normally, it will be very difficult for us to find the odd one out straight away. So the last choice goes off, that you are looking for the out. You have to kind of, as I said, it's not only a parajumble type of question. You got to make a sequence possibly, or you have to figure out, you have to understand that, all right, these three talk about the same thing. And this one particular talks about something else. But you got to read for that. Okay, I haven't been able to deduce a method, come up with a method where I just look at them and find the odd one out. So you got to at least. So there are two ways. All of them fit in a sequence, one does not. Ya fir all of them talk about certain things and one does not. Both require reading. Fine. And Rajiv is saying we find the first question or the last question or a mandatory pair or something like that. That all is used in parajumbles, and obviously that can also be used in odd one out. So that is why I said initially that please read the instructions very carefully. Odd one out is not just the parajumble. It is parajumble plus one question, one sentence that does not fit in. Okay? All right. Nice one, yaar. Now let us, as I said, let us talk about the questions which we are not going to attempt in the first attempt. Like you go through the questions. These are doable. In quant, how do you go about it? These are doable. I'll do them first. Then these are slightly difficult. I can do them, but they are slightly more time taking. Do them in the second run. And then there are questions which are difficult. I can do it or I cannot. Let me check. So there is a kind of method to your madness. Like ye wala pehle kar lete hain. Then we have a round 2. Then we have a round 3. Maybe required. We have a round 4. We are just eliminating the questions that we are not comfortable with. Okay. So I have picked up certain questions from previous papers just to explain this point. Fine. So we'll talk about that. And you can keep coming up with the questions, beta. Okay? I'm more than happy to kind of give the answer to the best of my ability. Okay. Of course, I don't have all the answers, but chances are I'll have most of the answers for you. So please keep coming with the questions. All right. Fine. Me to my exams pass aate ja rahe ho. The only requirement, very high percentile in VRC, that is Maa Ka Ashirwad. But unfortunately, all of us have this. So this is neutralized. Okay. So it doesn't work out that you can clear CAT only with Maa Ka Ashirwad, because sabki mummy ne sabko Ashirwad de rakha hai, to neutralize ho gaya hai. Now it comes to the skill set. Fine. So relationship ho ya questions, if they are toxic, jane de. So out here we are talking about certain questions which are toxic. Like just like in a relationship, you have invested some time, some energy, a lot of emotions, and then it's not working out, and you're not willing to let it. That is poisonous. Similarly, you have read a question, you have not understood it, but something inside of you tells you, "Nahi, pad liya hai. Now that I have read it, solve it." No, let it go. You've got to make certain considerations for the questions that you're not able to understand after reading, which means you have to be genuine and honest enough with yourself to tell कि look boss पढ़ लिया समझ नहीं पाया यार. I've read it but I've not understood it, so I'll just let it go. I will not bring in toxicity. Okay, in my living room I will not get any toxicity. So relationship हो या क्वेश्चन अगर टॉक्सिक है, अगर पॉइजनस है, अगर प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर रहा है, जाने दे. ठीक, like for example, these are the questions like one-liners coming from the real CAT papers. Okay, first thing, we can infer that Sahalin's main goal in writing his essay was to. Now, beta, all of us who have practiced to a certain extent will realize that this question is a central idea question. Fine. I don't say it is the easiest one, but at least we understand the question very, very fast, very clearly. That they are asking us what is the central idea of the passage. So, question is easy. Now, if you have understood the passage or you not worked hard enough with your reading skills, that is a problem. But beta, any student who is above average, who has worked hard, and understands the passage, he or she will find this one as an easy question. कि लोग बस आप सब पता तो चल रहा है क्या पूछा है हमसे. Let's talk about the second one. The author mentions Tanzania's Hadza community to illustrate. Why has he mentioned Tanzania's Hadza community? Again, a simple question. At least we know what is being asked. They are simply asking, इनका example क्यों दिया है? What is the trying to make us understand through this particular example or discussion? The question is easy. The author of the passage criticizes Sahalin's essay for its. Sahalin का essay है, okay? Why? On what basis is the author criticizing it? Again, the question is easy to understand at least. And if you understand the question, chances are you get the answer also. Fine. Then you have the author of the passage mentions Galbraith's the affluent society too. Why has he mentioned the affluent society? What is he trying to convey through mentioning the affluent society? Okay. What is he trying to exemplify through this? Now, these all come from the same passage. You can see Sahalin's. Okay. You can figure out that I have picked it up from the same passage. Now, if I read these questions or I scan through these questions, I'm going to go for this passage because the questions are easy. And if I have confidence in my ability to read and understand, I will know that 90% passage समझ में आता है boss मेरे को. And if I can understand 90% of the passage, I will get at least 3 out of 4. Or maybe, if it's my good day, 4 out of 4, because the type of questions that they have asked, it is simple. Central idea, example, and again, just 1 pointer, maybe 2 pointers, why criticizing. Okay, so these are the easy ones, beta. And as Aniket, you asked now, how do I choose it? If I see these questions, I'll choose it. मैं fight मारूं attempt. ये ठीक है, क्वेश्चन तो आसान है ना, कम से कम देखते हैं. Then these are again from real CAT. The central idea of the passage would be undermined if. Now this is two layered. You have to understand the central idea of the passage and which option out of the given ones will undermine it, which means will weaken it. Two layers. पहला क्या था ना, the first type, they simply asked us what is the central idea. In this, they have not asked us, but in a very subtle way they have asked कि look boss, पहले तो तुम central idea समझोगे, बताओगे what will weaken it or what will strengthen it. So now they ask you the central idea and they ask you which option will weaken it in this, or maybe which option will strengthen it. Double layered हो गया, थोड़ा difficulty level बढ़ गया, ठीक है, पहले वाले से, when you compare to the first type, right? The author of the passage faults Dineen's conclusions for all of the following reasons, except. But if you remember, how does the author? I'll just. The author of the passage, the third question I'm reading. The author of the passage criticizes Sahlan's essay for its one layer. Read this again. The author of the passage faults Dineen's conclusions. He finds faults with Dineen's conclusions for all of the reasons, except. Again, double layered, not very difficult, a smart question, which if we are smart enough, we'll kind of negotiate. Fine, but it is surely more difficult than the earlier questions that we talked about. Third one, the author passage is likely to disagree. Now, this is again, they are trying to put a lot of confusion in our head. The author of the passage is likely to disagree with all of the following statements, except. So basically, they are asking that he will disagree with all the options except one, and that he will not disagree with. That is your answer. Again, double layered. Fine. So I will attempt these questions second round, or maybe if I don't have a choice, in the first round itself. So the pehla passage that we discussed about Sahlan's and essays and all that, वो तो पहले अटेम्प्ट में मारी दे चौका. ठीक? This one, the good students will say, okay, I'm not scared, boss. I have understood the questions. कर लेते हैं. Fine. This is doable in the first reading itself for the good students. Okay. Otherwise, पहले वाला वो चार पॉकेट में रख के फिर देखते हैं हम क्या कर सकते हैं. If you've worked hard, or if you intend to work hard over the next 15 days, we still can attempt the first one and this one. तो 8 तो है ना यार हमारे पास. 8 नहीं, sorry, 7. 4 plus 3. Then you come with this. It says all following, if true, can weaken the passage's claim that facts do not speak for themselves, except. The language that is being used makes the question a lengthy one to read, or at least lengthier than the previous ones. Okay. All of the following if true. The language is being used that they use in questions based on inference. Okay. Can weaken. Layer 2. पहले में infer करेंगे, फिर यहाँ पे weaken the passage's claim that facts do not speak for themselves, except. 3-layered. Fine. Oh, I'm really good at VA and RC. But still, if I read this question first, I will say, boss, I will come to you. I'll come back to you. We'll call you. Type. All right, which means I have my doubts. दूसरा कैंडिडेट देख लेते हैं. आप जरा रुकिए, हम बताते हैं. We'll let you know. Okay, so we will let it. We'll do it or not. This question, just look at the length. Okay, if the author of the passage were to write a book on the Battle of Hastings along the lines of his or her own reasoning, the focus of the historical account would be on. Now, this is such the sentence to kind of understand under that kind of pressure that we will be during the exam. तो इसको तो ना मैं दोबारा पढ़ूंगा अभी. मैं बोलूंगा, look boss, you are not my type, so stay away. Maybe if I'm really desperate, then I'll talk to you. Otherwise, I'll not. Fine. Third one, according to the author, for Pinker as well as the ancient Greek philosophers, rational thinking involves all of the following except. Now, according to the author, for Pinker as well as other ancient Greek philosophers, but you got to read the entire passage, understand each and every theory that these philosophers have given, and only then you know which one is odd. Again, too many layers to the question. A question that is to be kept away. Maybe later, maybe sometimes, maybe just not. Okay. So I hope oh yeah, that's nice. Okay. I hope I made my point clear. The very first question today from Aniket, how do we pick our passages? This is one way where I decide, okay, I'll do the first one. I'll do the second one. If I have time, maybe I try this one. I'm happy with the first two. Okay. Types of questions, the way they have been asked, that gives some sort of idea okay, based on my strengths and weaknesses, I will attempt it. I will not attempt it. I will attempt it in the first attempt. I will attempt it in the second one, and maybe time. And I have had enough attempts. Maybe then I try this or I don't. Okay. Do we have more questions coming in? Simple steps to score well in VARC for CAT. If that is the weak section I am having, go for 6 questions first, and then maybe 8, and then maybe 10. You'll have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day if you are able to attempt 12 to 13 questions. But yes, if it is really better, please try 6 questions. या अच्छे तो 6 सवाल तो कर ही सकते हैं ना हम लोग. 6 questions तो मिल ही जाएगा आपको करने लायक. Sometimes what happens in our head, will I have 18 or 20? So accuracy goes out of the window, and that is where we get a lot of negative marks. तो जो right हुआ भी है ना, वो भी negate हो गया. So if it is really weak, better attempt 6. Look for the 6 questions that you can do right, and then you decide, okay, boss, these 2 also can be done. Maybe 10, maybe 12. If it is really weak, but I don't believe it that is the case with you people. That is really, really weak. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. All right. So in mock, I'm facing to get 20 plus marks in VRC. I tried every way to increase by increasing solving questions. Different approach. Also, what should I do? But as I said, the king is accuracy. So if you are attempting more questions but still getting them wrong, get questions that you are very, very, very confident about. Okay. Let us not get greedy. Let us not get overwhelmed. Let us not get scared. अरे यार अटेम्प्ट ही है 7-8 सवाल. 7-8 सवाल करते हैं ना पहले, आप देखोगे एक्यूरेसी लेवल अगर अच्छा है आपका, इफ यू गेट दो 7 क्वेश्चंस राइट विदाउट अटेम्प्टिंग एनी अदर क्वेश्चन, योर परसेंट शूट्स अप एनीवे. हम गलती क्या करते हैं बेटा, दैट ओके आई अटेम्प्ट मोर देन चांसेस आर आई विल गेट मोर आंसर्स राइट. नो, you attempt 18, get those 7 right. The problem is you get the other 11 wrong. So what I suggest is, I will not attempt the other 11. Or maybe I'll try to attempt just 2 or 3 of them. So even if I get negative marks, these 7 are able to handle that type of. So again, maybe the strategy should change to reducing the number of attempts, playing it safe, percentage tennis. All right. You don't have to be like brilliant every second day. Like Tilkar had a long career, a brilliant man, a genius. But he has also played some of the innings where he's scrapping through. He's getting beaten, but he's there. He's not out. And then maybe after lunch, something changes. His blood circulation improves, his confidence improves, the footwork is better, and then Tilkar is Tilkar that we all know. So it depends on your ability to scrap through a situation. It's a difficult one, it's an uncomfortable one, but I will scrap through it. Don't give up. Beta, ये सब जो problem है ना, सब यहाँ का है. It's all in the head. We give up. Okay, now let me attempt. No, keep your strengths. You find this is a tough phase. I will just survive. I will just survive. I'll attempt these 6, 7, 5 questions. And then maybe you move ahead. Boss, आगे का paper भी तो सही जा रहा है यार. And then maybe you end up scoring 12 or 13. Try this approach. Okay? Get out of the zone where I have read it and hence I will attempt it. I have read it. I don't understand this. आगे भाग, देखते हैं, निकलते हैं यहाँ से. पहले यहाँ से निकलते हैं, फिर देखते हैं क्या अच्छा होता है. You something easy, something more relevant. Okay? All right. So I hope I answered that one. So getting back to what we were trying here. सोच समझ के बेटा कौन से अटेम्प्ट करने हैं, कौन से नहीं करने, कौन से फर्स्ट गो, सेकंड गो और थर्ड गो. ठीक. एंड दीज आर ऑल रियल कैट क्वेश्चंस. फाइन. आई हैव नॉट पिक देम फ्रॉम एनी सैंपल और मॉक और एनी इंटरनेट सोर्स. ये कैट में पूछा गया है. ठीक. तो आप स्टडी समझ रहे हो उनकी क्या है. Trying to kind of put us in a situation where we come out of the paper, question exam hall and say, अरे यार ये वाला बाद में था, कर लेता. Fine. So you be very smart in choosing questions that you want to attempt. Okay. All right. Very important, reading comprehension. You avoid biases based on existing information. We are all well-read people. We all have our own experiences. owing to my age, more years on this planet, I have got certain exposure which is more than you. That's it. But you also not like yesterday born. You're also like 21 plus. You also have read something. You also have your inexperiences. We all have that bias. Please avoid using that bias in the exam hall. Please be very detached with the passage. The passage may be talking about something that you like. Maybe it's something that you do not like. In both the cases, stay detached. If you remember in the initial, those of you who maybe attended the initial sessions that we had, I did talk about the only thing that mattered was opinion of the author. What you feel about a certain thing, what I feel about a certain thing, just does not matter. Only one thing matters: what does the author think? So please don't carry any existing information. Do not carry any biases. It creates a problem. Fine. तो जो भी पढ़ा वड़ा है रखने का बॉस, ठीक है, घर पे छोड़ के जाने का, वहां पे द ओनली इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू नीड इज द वन दैट इज गिवन. इसके अलावा बेटा कोई बायस जरूरत नहीं है. I have a wonderful example for this that I keep telling everybody regarding biases. I did a case study on South Korean Airlines. Okay, they were crashing, stock exchange crashes every Monday or something. Fine, people were losing lives, and hence the airline was losing a lot of business. So they called an expert from America. Sir, please study and tell us what is the problem. He studies and he comes with his analysis and results. He says, boss, your planes are wonderful as far as technology is concerned. Then why are they crashing? Wait, your pilots are well trained, very disciplined, most of them. Then why are they crashing? Because you don't have the right sort of in the airlines. What is that? That is that in your culture, elders are always right. Seniors are always right. Are always right. So even when these people make a mistake and the junior knows it, he or she is not able to tell you that because, oh, the elders are always right. Fine, the elders may be idiots. You never know. But the culture says they're always right. So when the senior pilot makes a mistake, the junior is not able to, because you have that after the crash, they do check the black box not to get the information. Maybe what's the reason. Okay. So this change the culture. So in my head, I had like installed that okay, जब plane crash होता है तो probably cultural issues हैं. The junior pilot may not have been able to express very clearly the mistake that the senior is making. Then I had a question in critical reasoning. I was trying to solve a few questions. In that, the question was that why do ambulance helicopters meet more crashes than the normal passengers ones? And in my head, said, oh boss, yahan bhi wahi. Abhi to padha tha. That the culture is the problem. The junior guy has not been able to warn the senior guy, sir, making this mistake, we'll go down. That option was not there in the options given. Panic sets in. You read again, you try to wipe out the information, you remove your biases. Now you read again with total detachment and come up with the answer. If I had not read that case study earlier, and if I attempted this question first, without a bias, I would have got the answer in the first go itself, maybe 20 seconds, 25 seconds. It took me 3 minutes. Why? Bias. Dangerous hai beta. Okay? So, you've got to avoid all the biases. Don't carry any existing information when you're going for exam. Maybe math formula. Next. हाँ, हमारे यहाँ ऐसा ही होता है नहीं, ये घर पे रखने का. आपका घर है, आपके यहाँ ऐसा होता है, आप रखो. एग्जाम हॉल में मत लेके जाइएगा. Verify and eliminate. We have talked about it earlier, but I thought that okay, really nice if I can again tell you the thing. When you choose your, ये मेरा A है, already it is not A, B, C, D. When you choose your options, instinctively you, this is what happens most of the time. We read the options and say, यही लग रहा है. All right. What do we mean by verification and elimination? I will read that option again. Honestly, and I will tell myself, I will ask myself, have I understood it? And if I have understood it, only and only then, I'll come to all the questions, beta. I'll just wrap this up. If I've understood C, I have verified and I have understood nahi hai, samajh mein to aa gaya hai, and I still believe this is the answer, I will not mark it here. I will go and eliminate A and B and D by logically asking myself, why can't A be the answer? Why can't B be the answer? Why can't D be the answer? So please do not get your answers through selection that I feel this is the question. I select. You got to eliminate all others. Okay, this is the one. And why I'm not choosing A, why I'm not choosing B, and why I'm not choosing D. Logical answers to these questions. Why not A? Not B? Why not D? So please verify, which means make sure you understand the option that you are trying to say this is the answer. And number two, eliminate all other options logically, not with stubbornness. Okay, logically. Don't get biased. Okay. We have a question. Aniket, accuracy is important. But accuracy is important. It is all that there is. That's why I say 6 questions should be correct. Do not go for 13 where you are not sure. So 6 तो सही था, उसमें से 7 गलत हो गया, तो मार्क्स तो कम हो गए ना. So I totally agree with you, and I hope I said the same thing. Reduce your attempts, go for accuracy. Varsha, how many questions I have to do if my accuracy is 70% for 90 percentile? That is a slightly a question, Varsha. But how do I put it? 8 right questions. If you don't get anything wrong, be able to take you there, I suppose. Fine. But VA easy होता है बेटा, ठीक है. So आप आराम से ना 10 to 12 questions attempt कर सकते हो और सही हो सकते हैं वो. So I this way that please attempt only those questions you are very sure about. Drag it to 8 first and then go for maybe 10 or 12. And if you are having a full day, very confident, very sure about our answers, then sky's the limit. But 8 से 8 पे रखते हैं उसको, ठीक है. Only if you are not very comfortable with B. I'm very sure कि 8 से ज़्यादा हम करते होंगे यार, तो 8 से 12 का रेंज में रखते हैं. Rajiv, what is the maximum threshold time that we should put per question, and if it doesn't within that frame, we shall move on? Well, how do I put it? Normally, I assess the RC part 2 minutes per question types. Fine. And but you cannot be better like working like this now. Okay, 30 seconds gone. Now I won't do it. Sometimes it cracks in like 60 seconds. So that again will come with experience. We have to have the overall calculation and not type out like, okay, 30 seconds to all. Some questions you may be in like 10 seconds. So you have that buffer of 20. One thing. Yes. Now, one thing I'll tell you. If you have not been doing it, please start doing it. What? Please understand how you are going to react in the exam hall. Talk to yourself. Ask yourself. Like in the exam hall, we always verify. We always revise. We almost always slow down in terms of our reading. Got nervousness hai na beta. Double checking everything. If you double check a question, all right, क्या सही किया कि नहीं किया, एक बार देख लेते हैं. You are adding 20 to 30 seconds. Fine. And maybe if you attempt like 15 questions. Okay. Now 15 questions into 30 seconds. तो हो गया 450 seconds. ठीक है. So this comes to how many minutes approximately? 7 plus 8. Okay, approximately 7 to 8. Now you understand where these 7-8 minutes are gone. That is what happens when we say, oh, there are a lot of pressure. Nahin, but not factor in these 20 to 30 seconds. I tell you what happened with me yesterday. As I said, I'm coming from a school reunion. So when we went to school, and that is in Missouri, a certain portion of the road was damaged during the rains, during the monsoons. The army did, they have put a kind of temporary middle bridge, which is not as wide as the main road. So almost all of us, we by chance happened to drive in the night. So people who went on 5th, they drove in the night. In the night, no traffic. People who went on 6th, they also drove on 9th. I went on 7th, and I also my cab also went in late evening. Traffic was not around. Fine. What happened? I missed my train yesterday. Why? Because we did not factor in this thing that, okay, yaar, we got small kind of alley out there where if the traffic is coming from both the sides, you got to stop one side, let the other side go, then you stop the other side and let this side go. None of us factored that in. There was a traffic jam. It wasn't a jam exactly. The traffic was moving, but it was moving at a snail's pace. So though we had kind of taken a buffer of 40 minutes, I missed the train. It was obviously 2:25. Started at 2:25. We were like 3 minutes away. So missed the train by 3 minutes. Now understand the importance of minutes, beta. We could not get those 3 minutes from anywhere. वो 3 मिनट नहीं मिला हमको कहीं से यार, because we had not factored in narrow bridge. If any one of us had taken a cab in the afternoon, then that fellow would have been alert कि नहीं look boss उधर jam होता है, so instead of 40-minute buffer, let us take a 2-hour buffer. Fine. So we did not react to a situation because we were not prepared for it. Same thing happens. हम तो 3 मिनट नहीं ला पाए ना बेटा, कहीं से ट्रेन छूट गया. Then fortunately we were all like friends were all, we drove to Delhi. फिर सुबह एक और वंदे भारत in the morning, and that is how I came to Lucknow by afternoon. Fine, but that was a hassle, right? The performance went down. ना अगर फैक्टर इन कर लिया होता 3 मिनट बच गया होता हमारा. फाइन, या हमने उसको पीछे खींच लिया होता थोड़ा सा. सो इफ यू आर slowing down, if you are verifying in the exam hall, please start doing all these things in your test sessions, because 7 minutes तो बेटा कहीं से नहीं मिलेगा ना हमको एक्स्ट्रा वहां पे. Life does not give you extra time. It didn't give us yesterday. We missed the train by 500 meters or something. At one point, it was like, yaar, you keep my luggage. Guys coming to Lucknow, I'll pick it up from you tomorrow because you've got a train in the night or something. I'll run to the platform. This was the situation which we were in because 3 minutes कहीं से नहीं मिला यार वो 3 मिनट, ट्रेन चले गया. So please understand, never have a bad day. You just don't factor in the important minutes. Out here, extra seconds per question, they add up loss of 7 to 8 minutes. So please factor this in. ठीक है, बेवकूफ नहीं बनने का बॉस, ये बहुत मेहनत किया फिर भी दिक्कत हो गया. All right. How many exams do you target? Well, I think CAT covers most now. Then of course there is that. Then you've got Maharashtra one. Okay, for certain good colleges with that exam. Fine. So if you take CAT, then the pattern, the difficulty level, that all has been covered with that. Okay.
CMAT is
Fine.
also there, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying CMAT is also there if somebody is interested.
That is the okay. CMAT is also there. Yes, it also has access to really good college out there.
Yep.
We'll be talking more about CMAT later on. अभी CAT पे focus करते हैं. ठीक है. Right. So very important. Just remember my story. Missing the train by 3 minutes. Fine, because we did not factor in those 3 minutes. All right. Verify, eliminate. Some smart moves. One thing beta hai, this is useful in reading comprehension. Complete the sentence. Fine. There is something called non-essential clause. Okay. अच्छा एक काम मैं क्या करूँगा? I'll just essential and non-essential clauses. Okay. Grammar can be really helpful in understanding your sentence. And if you do not understand grammar well, chances are your learning will go haywire. Fine. So any sentence that has a part that is in between the commas, this part, but this part is called non-essential, which means it is just additional information. It is just additional information. It is not the crucial information. Crucial information is this part and this part. Okay. But if the sentence does not have any comma, then same part becomes essential. I'll tell you how. My office that has two screens is in Mahanagar. Okay. And I write the second sentence as my office, comma, which has two screens, comma, is in Mahanagar. Word for word, they're the same sentences, except that we have that here and we have which here. The other difference is we have got commas in the second sentence. Fine. Now it implies that this information is the additional information. How are they different? But how are they different? They are different in a way that in the first one, I'm emphasizing the fact that the office that I'm talking about has got two screens. This is essential clause. It is important. It actually means that out of my many offices, the one that has two screens is in Mahanagar. Whereas in the second sentence, my office is in Mahanagar, which means I have office. It is in Mahanagar. Additional information, it also has two screens. So in the first one, I've got more than one offices. In the second one, I have got just one office. So this is relevance of essential and non-essential. His sister, who is a teacher, has gone to picnic. His sister, who is a teacher, has gone to picnic. His sister, comma, who is comma, has gone to picnic. In the first one, the person has more sisters than one. And he's emphasizing on the one who is a teacher. In the second one, the person has one sister. My sister has gone to picnic and she is a teacher. Additional information. Now I'll just give you that relevant example from the Johannes. इसमें दो तीन चीज सीखने का बेटा. Okay. Why did I pick this one is because first thing, the name. Don't struggle with proper nouns. There are names of the cities, people, countries, ambassadors, embassies, whatever, which you are not able to read up nouns confidently. Don't. You don't have to put your bank Johannes Haile Selassie. अरे ठीक है, you just see it, कोई नाम है ना, इतना समझ में आता है. And then you have a comma here. Okay. So yes, a paleoanthropologist at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History in Ohio. Okay. कोई relevance है इस information का जहां से you believe they will be asked a question from this particular line? It is not a class 8th exam, right? That they ask where Selassie works. And you say, oh, Cleveland of Natural History in Ohio. This is additional information. This is not the crucial, critical, or important information. Information is Selassie and his said that the species the foot belonged to remains undetermined for lack of any cranial or dental remains associated with the specimen. So important information is the species the foot belonged to remains undetermined, for the lack of any cranial or dental remains associated with the specimen. This is the main information, not a paleoanthropologist at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History in Ohio. This part is non-essential. You will have a lot of such parts that are in between the commas. They put a dash here and a dash here. ठीक? So please understand, इन पे जान नहीं देने का. Just read them. We have a look. Maybe if it's our bad luck, maybe they ask a question which they haven't yet. But you know ना कहाँ पे, वापस आके पढ़ के देख लेंगे उसको. So probably से सवाल नहीं आता बेटा. These are non-essential clauses. Look for Again, I have discussed this part earlier. You are reading a passage and the author is putting forward a certain kind of opinion. Okay. And then suddenly you see a contrast here. Okay. He was saying it is day and now he's saying it is night. How can it be possible? Two scenarios. One, I believe day, but others say it is night. So my opinion is clear. What? I believe it is day. Okay? Not a problem here. Contrast तो है, but problem नहीं है. Problem क्या है? When I myself start saying no, now it is night. Fine. And then I give you my arguments. So there are two situations. Either that argument holds or that argument fails. So you got to understand the argument, beta. Through that argument, you got to understand what is the opinion of the author. The moment you see certain kind of contrast in the tone of the author or the information that he's trying to share, please slow down in your reading. अगर आपने contrast कर दिया ना बेटा, opinion of the author change हो जाएगा आपके मन में. So which is very important that you have the right understanding of the author's opinion. तो कहीं भी आपको लगे ना कि this guy has started talking opposite of what he was talking earlier, please slow down. धीरे हो जाने का वहां पे, ठीक है? Make sure you clarify this. Contrast clarify करने का है साफ साफ. Very important. The exam in India that is conducted at night, but 99% of the students, they study at night because it is quiet. There's disturbance around. Okay. And yeah, something tells you, boss, that because it is like the ideal condition. Up padhenge. Understand? All the exams are conducted in the daytime. There are traffic sounds. There are people moving around. The people whispering around. The people banging the keyboard around. There are people who are in a state of panic around. There is no, the weather may not be ideal. So there is nothing called the ideal condition. So please start working out in the daytime. Especially when you take a mock, please take a mock in that frame of time in which you've got to write CAT. ठीक है? अब वो mock का ना बेटा बंद कर दो. अपना बैचलर क्लॉक को थोड़ा, because your body has to be at its optimal level of performance. If I'm pretty sure some of you have participated in athletic events. Okay. So back in school, I participated in a lot of athletic events. I lost one, and that is that, and that was a long jump event. What happened? They kept delaying it. It was supposed to be at 2 o'clock. It happened at 4 o'clock. So those 2 hours, my body warmed up and it cooled down. Froze, because at around 4 in the evening in the hills, the temperature drops. It happened at around 4 o'clock or something. My body had already cooled down. I jumped nearly 1.5 feet less than what I usually. So I qualified from the 4th place. Okay. Now I didn't have any idea. I said, sir, bad day, sir, body stretch here. My coach said, no, boss, waiting for 2 hours. Find out when is the final event, at what time. We found out it was at 1 o'clock, and we also figured out that on the final day they can't mess it up because number of participants, that is less, and events are like they have to be very, very, very tightly scheduled. You cannot lose 5-10 minutes there in conducting an event. So we are pretty sure that if it is 1, it is going to be 1, maybe 5 past 1, but not like 30 minutes past 1. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. So after that, we had around 7 to 10 days before the final event was supposed to be there. So for those 7 days or whatever 5-7 days, we practiced at 1 o'clock. तो lunch भी वैसे schedule किया था that let us take lunch at say 11:05 or maybe 11:30 instead of the usual 12:30 time. Warm up and then practice. On the final day, they conducted the event time and I was bang on spot. Average के ऊपर jump मारा, कोई practice भी कर लिया था. ठीक है? Stood first. So what in those 7 days? We worked on this and we worked on our training. So beta please start taking mocks in that time frame जब CAT होना है. ठीक है? रात को पढ़ो, रिवाइज करो, सब कुछ कर लो, मॉक यहाँ पे दे देने का. ठीक? अदरवाइज होगा बॉडी वार्म किया, बॉडी कूल डाउन हो गया, परफॉर्मेंस नहीं दे पाए। डेडिकेशन तो है ही आपके अंदर। वी कैन, आई थिंक वी कैन गो फॉर अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस। जसमोहन सर, कैन वी गो फॉर अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस?
Yes, sir, if you want to.
ठीक है सर, आई जस्ट शेयर विद यू। Sir, I have shared a sheet with you. Kindly share, students. Sorry. It's got mixed questions, not as if it is the mock sessional, but we've got a mix of questions. So we'll try to attempt them as quickly as possible. But as far as the resources are concerned, fine. Please go for the previous 5 years, 6 years CAT papers first. Best parameter वही है. With certain institutes or with almost all the institutes, what happen? They kind of either make it very difficult or make it very fine. So if it make it very easy, then you are under the illusion कि फोड़ दूंगा. If it makes it very difficult, then you're like यार discouraged, नहीं हो पाएगा. So go for the previous years first. उनको खत्म कर लो, ठीक है? फिर नेट पे बहुत सोर्स मिल जाता है बेटा. Okay?
Sir, I've shared it with everyone.
Okay, sir. I'll just. All right. I think there are 12, 13 questions. Just give me a second, but I'll just figure out how many questions are there. Of course, we won't be able to attempt all of them. 13 questions. 13. Lucky for some. All right. The questions contain a paragraph each from which the last sentence has been deleted. Sentence completion hai beta. Okay. From the given options, choose the one that completes the paragraph most logically and coherently. Mark the appropriate option. Complete the sentence. हाँ, easy है क्यों? From each from which, sorry, the last sentence deleted. So if you understand the idea flow, you will be able to do this. So you got one question and two, and then you have paragraph, the jumbled of sentences, parajumbles that is, okay? Again, two questions. So, and then you got a reading comprehension. Such. But what you do is you attempt the first four. All right. You can take around 8 minutes. If you do it earlier, please put it in the chat box or the Q&A. We can start earlier. But take 8 minutes to do the first four questions. Okay. We can have the clock. I repeat, first four questions, 8 minutes, and we start. 8 minutes. Go. First four. Arihant, but I'll talk about it. ठीक है. Less than 30 seconds to go now. All right, time up. I hope it's visible. Yes, it is. Okay. So these were very long 8 minutes for me and very short 8 minutes for people who were taking them seriously. Okay. So uh, we'll just try to get to the answers. The sentence. Yeah, paragraph. Okay. Make Way for Tomorrow is a nearly forgotten American film made in the Depression, that is 1930s. Okay. Tells the story of my mother, imagined for herself. A couple has lived happily together for 50 years. They lose their home to a bank. Their 5 grown children are really sorry to hear this. But what can they do with them? One has moved to California and is rarely heard from. The others live closer, but don't have the space to take in 2 people. It is decided the mother and father will stay with 2 different children for now. I hope you have seen the movie called Bagban. This is where it comes from. Make Way for Tomorrow from 1937. Okay, fine. When I was still living in Abena, I would often take my mother for a drive. But does it make any connection with the passage? People are dying of hunger. This guy says, I'll take her on a drive. Fine. So we eliminate the first one. Holds no relevance to the idea, flow, or tone of the passage. Second one, their last night in their home is the last time they will sleep together in the same bed. It kind of goes with the passage. Fine. We still just hold it. We do not mark it as the final answer. Number three, it is so tough it might not be filmable today when even Alzheimer's stories have happy endings. More than the movie, I think we're talking about the emotions that are being conveyed through the movie. So it's not about the movie actually. Fine. This is gone. But Anita holds bridge classes in her living room for perhaps 20 students. Totally irrelevant. We don't even know who Anita is. So answer is 2. The last night in their home is the last time they will sleep together in the same bed, because then their children have decided they'll be kind of separated. Each parent staying with a different sibling. Next one. George Best combined elegant balance, strength on the ball, deadly finishing, and the ability to slalom through defenses. I mean, like tear through, as if the football gods exclusively afforded him superhuman skill. Seldom is the world of football graced by the embodiment of ability, the perfect example of ability and toughness. And in George Best, the world saw football's Greek demigod, Achilles, handsome like anything and talented like anything. He challenged the butchers of the game mercilessly, leaving them in his wake time and again, while riding the avalanche of challenges aimed at his kneecaps. As defenders attacked his kneecaps, he beat them, he humiliated them, he overwhelmed them, and scored. That was George Best. Everyone wanted to be him, and every woman wanted to have him. Now, okay, it seems okay, but thing is, out here, we are talking about certain characteristics of George Best. Fine. So अभी देखते हैं. Let's hold it. George Best, a shy boy with slight frame of from Creagh in the east of Belfast, discovered at 15 years of age in Belfast by Manchester United scout Bob Bishop. But this could have been before, because this is the introductory where we are introducing the boy, that is George Best. So end तो नहीं कर सकते इस पे. It could be the part of the passage, but not the last part. Maybe the initial part. This is gone. But like many of football's tragic heroes, George Best had a dark side, and for every ounce of skill he emanated on the pitch, he seemed to consume an alcohol fueled lifestyle. Now, this is where the sorry. Hmm. Okay. This is where the contrast comes in. Take last one. His most prolific run of form was from 65 to 72 as he continued and set up goals for the Red Devils. Okay, seems relevant, but I think the best answer is 3 because they're talking about certain things. Feel the tone that, okay, boss, this is going to, because it is like exaggerated that God kissed him right, gave him the skill like this. कुछ भगवान दे रहा है तो बदले में कमी भी कर रहा है. क्या कर रहा है? टेम्परामेंट गलत बना दिया, लाइफस्टाइल अल्कोहल फ्यूज कर दिया. Okay, so right answer is 3. And now we have rearrange the following sentences in to construct a coherent paragraph. Parajumble सवाल है बेटा. टीटा. To be culturally literate is to possess the basic information needed to thrive in the modern world. All right. Nor is it confined to social class, quite the contrary. So you got nor. But in parajumbles, there are a few things that we need to keep in mind, at least I do. One is the concept about noun and pronoun. The sentence that has a noun will come the sentence that has the pronoun. Ravi comes before he. Okay, so one thing that you keep in mind is the noun pronoun structure. The other thing is a and the. Sentences that have a or an come before the sentences that have the. I saw a dog in the morning. The dog had a double layered fur or something like that. Take a dog will come before the dog. So keep this in mind. Now, nor is it, neither nor. We have to have a sentence before this. It means confined to culture, narrowly understood as an acquaintance with the arts. Cultural literacy constitutes the only sure avenue of opportunity for disadvantaged children, the only reliable way of combating the social determinism that now condemns them. The breadth of that information is great, extending over the measures of human activity from sports to science. But it is very, very, very clear that we start with A. To be culturally literate is to possess the basic information needed to thrive in the modern world. Okay. The breadth of that information, basic. The breadth of that information is great, extending over the major domains of human activity from sports to science. It is by no means confined to culture, narrowly understood as an acquaintance with the arts. It is by no means. Beta, no nor to aa sakta hai, I suppose. We can have no and nor. So after C, nor is it. It is by no means confined, nor is it confined to one. So you got A, E, C, and B. And what is left? Only D is left. And I have suggested time and again that once you have your sequence in place, please read that. Read that. Because if there's a mistake, we will realize it then and there. Look, this does not make sense. So please read it. To be culturally literate is to possess the basic information needed to thrive in the modern world. The breadth of that information is great, extending over the major domains of human activity from sports to science. It is by no means confined to culture narrowly understood as an acquaintance with the arts, nor is it confined to one social class. Quite the contrary, ulta hai. Cultural literacy constitutes the only sure avenue of opportunity for disadvantaged children, the only way of combating the social determinism that now condemns them. So when you read the entire sequence, you realize, look, boss, this seems all right. कोई sudden oddity नहीं है. There's no oddity to it. ये तो नहीं लग रहा है ऐसा. Fine. So please read your answers. Fine. So number 3, A, E, C, B, D. Next one. Both parties use capital and labor in struggle to secure properties. So both parties. So we need to figure out which parties are they talking about. If spends time and money in his attempt to steal, he buys wire cutters. And the legitimate property owner expends resources to prevent the theft. He buys locks. A social cost of theft is that both the thief and the potential victim use resources to gain or maintain control over property. But I think B is the example of what stating in C. The these costs these costs may escalate as a type of technological arms race unfolds. A bank purchase more and more complicated and sophisticated safes, forcing safe crackers to invest further in safe cracking equipment. So I think we are talking about the social cost. So we start with C. A social cost of theft is that both the thief and the potential victim use resources to gain or maintain control over property. Take then both the parties use capital and labor in the struggle to secure property rights. Fine. And then he says what they spend on. The thief spends time and money in his attempt to steal. He buys wire cutters, and the legitimate property owner expends resources to prevent the theft. So CAB is like established. We have D&E. Okay. D says these costs. Okay. So beta, immediately agar aap dekho, social cost, then spends, and then these cost, and finally have E. Now we read it. CAB DE. A social cost of theft is that both the thief and the potential victim use resources to gain or maintain control over property. Both parties use capital and labor in the struggle to secure property rights. The thief spends time and money in his attempt to steal. He buys wire cutters, and the legitimate property owner expends resources to prevent the theft. He buys locks. These costs may escalate as a type of technological arms race unfolds. May purchase more and more complicated and sophisticated safes, forcing safe crackers to invest further in safe cracking equipment. So you read it, it sounds all right. So theta questions. You've got to read your sequence. So you can simply let me know who all got all 8 correct or 7 or 5, whatever, as we move forward. We'll take a few queries out here. Arihant was comprehension accuracy. Arihant, beta, please go through the first video. Okay, we have talked in detail about comprehension, the types of questions. Fine. पहला 2-3 वीडियो बेटा देख लेना, जयपुरिया का वेबसाइट पे है. ठीक है. Maybe sir will also share the existing links. Fine. Where the didn't get it. The document anyway we have solved it on the paper. ठीक है. So I hope it made some sense to you. Sagar, can you also reshare the previous material? Also. All right, but that I think sir is in a better position to do that. Okay, but I think he can mail you. Okay, fine. So we still have some time. We still have around half an hour to go. Okay. I suggest you do one comprehension passage. ठीक है. कितना क्वेश्चन है पहले देखते हैं. You got 1, 2, 3 and 3. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 3. You have 5 minutes to attempt the next 3 questions. Okay. I repeat, 5 attempts to Vedika, but I'll try to kind of बेला नहीं कैसे करें. You keep telling me in the Q&A box. I'll keep moving it. Fine. For the rest of us, the time starts now. 36 हो रहा है. Reset. Resume. 5 minutes. Next 3 questions. Please start. Sorry.
Vedika, please share your WhatsApp number of the chat. I'll share the document separately to you.
So Vedika and Nishita have shared number in the Q&A box.
No issue, sir. I'll do it.
Oh, Aniket, 3 out of 4 is there.
Send to both, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, to go. All right. 5 minutes, sir. We take 1 more minute. People who got the sheet late. So you have 1 more minute, please. All right, Bella. 6 minutes. Fine. Sorry. I think it was an easy one. पढ़ लेते हैं एंड ऑफ कोर्स पहला काम है पढ़ते हैं रीड द पैसेज एंड आंसर in the 5 seconds it takes to read this sentence an estimated 16 sharks around the world have been killed 5 seconds में 16 sharks around the world they are getting killed if you read on to the end of the article that number will have risen to about 770 every year fishers haul up to 73 million sharks onto boats across the world's oceans and trim their fins. In many cases, the rest of the body is thrown overboard to swim without propulsion. And without propulsion, no life giving water flows over the shark's gills. They drown. तो fins इनका कट आउट करके वापस फेंक देते हैं. Obviously, they do not survive. This is shark finning, a cruel practice that feeds the demand for the Chinese delicacy of shark or fish wing soup. From boat to bowl, it is tasteless. एक तो बकवास होता है खाने का. But millions, 70 million sharks साल भर में मार दी जाती हैं just for this. To curb the death toll, the US Congress plans to introduce the Shark Fin Trade Elimination Act of 2016. If passed, to sell or possess shark fins would be a punishable offense. It is the ultimate protection from being made into soup. Strange then that people who dedicate their lives to protecting sharks are vehemently opposed to the. Okay, now the contrast. Now the contrast. The people who dedicate their lives to protecting sharks are vehemently opposed to the bill. यार ये bill मत करो. In a letter to Senator Bill Nelson, Bob Hutter, director of the Center for Shark Research at the Monte, this is all non-essential. Okay? Florida outlines his objections. At best, it is unnecessary, he says. At worst, it harms rather than helps shark patients. एक तो पहली बात चलो unnecessary है. Secondly, अगर रहेगा तो शायद harm ज़्यादा करेगा than protection. For one, shark finning is already illegal in this, as well as in Canada, Australia, and Europe. Returning to shore with fins that have no corresponding body is like docking straight into a court hearing. According to Lindsay Davidson, a PhD candidate from Simon this, again, an example of non-essential, This fins attached is the gold standard for ensuring finning is not occurring. But fishing for sharks within a set quota is completely legal, at least for now. This allows commercial fishers to sell the meat just like any other fish, as well as the skin, liver, oil, and yes, the fins. It is not finning, it is heavily managed fishing. A practice that is sustainable and makes use of the entire shark rather than just its most coveted cuts. ठीक है, तो finning and fishing में फर्क है. Okay, which of the following is true according to the first paragraph? What is the first paragraph? The data. Okay. Sharks die without any momentum to swim. Sharks are killed for their leather. No, they are killed for their fins that is used in making the Chinese soup. Sharks are being killed every second. 5 seconds tha shayad. Huh? Okay. Sharks' fins are the main target for fishermen. You cannot generalize that, because in fishing, they are actually making use of the entire body. हर part को वो utilize कर ले आते हैं. ठीक है? So I think from that passage, if you paragraph, sorry, if you read, you have data तो था हमारे पास. Okay. Without propulsion, no life-giving water for the sharks' gills, they drown. So best option यहाँ पे हमारे पास है sharks die without any momentum to swim. Next. What point is the author trying to raise in the last paragraph? जहां पे वो fishing की बात करता है, full body use करते हैं यहाँ पे. To highlight how illegal shark trading has become the species. No, he's not talking about that. In the last paragraph, at least. To showcase a legal loophole which might be counterproductive. No, there's no loophole in the last one. To highlight how the effort to curb shark finning is flawed, and to showcase the futility of trying to stop shark finning. All right. Now you got certain things which are discussed in the passage and certain things which are not. Okay. And then to avoid any confusion, better you go back part of the passage. सवाल कहां से आया? सवाल last पैरा से आया, तो मे बी समथिंग हैड बीन डिस्कस इन द पैसेज बट नॉट इन द लास्ट पैराग्राफ. So always verify. To highlight how illegal shark trading has become the bane of species, to showcase a legal loophole, highlight how the effort to curb shark finning is flawed. Yes, because he's trying to have an argument that okay, fishing is different. We hold it. Showcase the futility of trying to stop shark finning. No, it is not futile. He's saying यार पूरा fishing कर दो ना उसको, एक कोटा सेट है उस पर हम काम करते हैं. This is also gone. Answer is 3. Now we have the last one. What, according to the passage, is the standard for ensuring finning is not occurring? According to the passage, not based on your existing information or something that you have read, something that you have researched on. Nothing like, just from the passage, they are asking us what is the relevant answer. Number 1. The skepticism of Lindsay Davidson regarding the efficacy of shark protection laws. The law against shark finning across the American subcontinent? No. The legal of shark fishing, which excludes finning, is in a nonchalant manner. The law that penalizes fishing without a body. I think if you read it again, you find this is an apparent answer. That is number 4. The law that punishes finning without a body. So you can actually put across your answers. If you got all 3 correct or 2 correct or 1 correct or none correct. None to nahi hoga, but maybe 2 and 3. This was an easy one actually. Fine. This required just verification by going back to the passage at that particular point, reading it and getting your answers. Okay. All right. Passage का तो time नहीं है. Let me see what can we do. Oh, we have only passages. But anyway, what all did we cover? We covered RC, at least we did one. We covered sentence completion, and you must have understood that it all depends on the idea flow, your understanding of the idea of where the author is taking us. And we also attempted 2 questions of parajumbles. Okay, which were actually theta questions. Type in the answer questions. Fine. So I hope we did learn something from today's session. Okay. Please go through the session again, the recorded ones as it is put on the website from Jaipuria. Okay. And that will help you kind of revise everything. Usko 2x 3x speed pe dekh lena. Wherever I have given like examples, you can just skip that part and just go through the text. Fine. And biological clock, and why I put on the stopwatch was to example like when the clock turns, the pressure increases. So even if you are having a sectional test for 30 minutes, please put that pressure on yourself. ओके, घड़ी चला के काम करने का बेटा, स्टॉप वॉच चला के काम करने का है. नॉट दैट कि यार रैंडमली बैठ गए आधे घंटे में कुछ करेंगे, नहीं. एक सवाल इतना मिनट में करना है, 5 सवाल इतने मिनट्स में करना है. ठीक है, यू असेस योरसेल्फ and suppose you are able to comfortably do 10 questions in 20 minutes. Fine, reduce 15 minutes. The idea is to be under constant pressure, to get used to that pressure, so that when in the exam hall, when you come across sort of pressure, you are able to handle it. क्योंकि बेटा सवाल तो आपने 10,000 किए होंगे, उनमें से एक भी नहीं आने वाला. You will have new questions. So it's not about the this as much as it is about your ability to handle pressure, to perform under that kind of tremendous pressure, which unfortunately you are, because opportunity is. Okay, but you will do well. Fine. The floor is open for more questions, more anxieties, more doubts that you have. So you can just put, and I'll be happy to kind of try and answer them. You want to ask, or maybe share or something?
Sir, any last minute tips for the students?
Sir, I think the PPT that we covered talks about the most of the relevant parts. And as of now, all I have to say is that there will be pressure to handle it. It's not going away. Okay. And as I said, I'll start with summary questions and then move on to RCs, because that will give me time to calm myself
Correct.
down.
Yeah.
So that was the important part.
Put the anxiety away.
Yes, sir.
I think it's important that they focus on the concepts rather than, kind of get into the rat race. If they know, if they're confident with the summaries, let them attempt summaries first. If they're confident with the RC, then let them
Yes, sir.
attempt RC first.
I mean, all of us have our own strengths and techniques.
Correct.
And by
Play to your
now,
strengths.
I think you would have found yours. So stick to that. Okay. Fine. Kids have had their share of information for the day and they're not
Yeah.
coming. So I think we can wrap up the session. Yes,
Somebody
sir.
had asked about attempting the triple O questions, how to approach efficiently, and somebody was asking previous
Uh,
questions, accuracy in compression and stuff like that.
Accuracy in comprehension. Okay. Aryan, yes. As I said, you need to find out which questions you are able to attempt easily. Okay. Do only those questions in the first round. In the second round, you go to more difficult ones. In the first half of, we did discuss about the types of questions that give us an idea that okay, this is something that I can do. This is something that I can do, but it will take time. And then the third type of questions, ones, the three layered questions, I'm not going to attempt. So that list you got to prepare for yourself. And that is where we make the mistake. We attempt the difficult ones also. So of course the accuracy goes down because you don't get those answers. वो गलत हो जाता है, then negative mark हो जाता है. So analyze the questions and the way they are asked. That is perhaps the most important thing. So you can decide, okay, I will do these questions, I will not do these questions, I'll do these questions in the second round. Fine. And better target 8 सवाल. Okay, just who is it by the way? Aryan, 8 questions please. Then you add like 10 and 12 and or something. 8 questions accurately कर सकते हैं हम लोग यार. ठीक है.
Varsha had a question some time back that my accuracy is 70%. How many questions do I need to attempt to get a 95 percentile?
Sir, I answered it there because I was not able to calculate mathematically that part. But yes, 8 questions should be the first target.
Okay.
That will take you to the 90s. And
Yeah. So
then
that
on
is
like
sorted.
then on it becomes tougher. So it's like 1 question, 2 questions.
I think
12 questions, 12 right questions, 12 correct
Great.
answers. That is,
That is
you
a
are
very
safe
good.
there. Yes. Aniket got 3 out of 3. Oh, good. See, huh? See. I think we can wrap up the session, sir. Any information you
Yeah,
want to
we
share?
can in case there are no more query.
Yes.
Also, I have shared earlier. Again, I will share to everyone. We've created an email address cat.lucknow@jaipuria.ac.in. You guys can share all your queries on this email ID, and we'll put it through to sir, and we'll be more than happy to answer you before your CAT exam. What we can do is that in case any one of you requires some more mocks or anything like that, you can put your request on this email. We'll collect it from sir and share it with you guys.
Yes.
And sir, if you don't mind, please share your number like last time so that in case they have any queries, they can connect with you.
And it is very important to note down that I do not ask for any fees. I'm not running a
Yes.
course. I'm not selling a course. Okay. So it is not a self-promotion kind of thing. I'm just sharing my number and my name. In case you have got any anxieties, any queries, any questions, please feel free to send me a message on this or call. If I don't pick up a call, I'll surely respond later, beta. Okay. So I'm there just in case you need me.
The
No,
entire endeavors are
no
again
future
is
upscaling, selling, nothing.
the entire endeavor of this activity is to support the students in their preparation so that they also do it with others when they get into IIMs and other places.
True,
And
sir.
I would say we would also want some of these good students to join us, but that's okay. That's a secondary part. And your effort will definitely help them in getting there, sir. So thank you so much for your time, sir. And since there are no
Thank
more
you, sir.
questions, I'd like to thank all of you for attending this session late in the night. Thank you and best wishes. We are available and we are also looking at one more long session like this. We'll keep you posted. And in case anybody has any thoughts about the session, please feel free to write back to us on the email. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
night, guys.
Nice.